We might not be the pioneers of deep space. This journey explores 30 theories about the universe's first intergalactic travelers, challenging everything you assume about exploration. You will discover ideas ranging from ancient alien astronauts to a cosmic consciousness that thinks itself across the void. We will confront the possibility of self-replicating machines and beings made of pure information. What if a galactic war already sterilized the cosmos, or our entire reality is just a simulation being toured by its creators? By the end, your understanding of life, travel, and our place in the cosmos will be fundamentally reshaped. Which of these cosmic possibilities feels the most real to you? The silence of the cosmos might be the most profound evidence we have. Theory 1 confronts us with the ancient astronaut pioneers, a civilization so advanced they charted the stars when Earth was still young. Imagine a species born on a world like Mars when its rivers still flowed, achieving technological maturity. Their pathway to the stars would not have been with simple chemical rockets. They might have learned to harness the fabric of space itself, using the mysterious pressure of dark energy as a propulsive force, or mastering the intricate navigation of wormholes, those theoretical shortcuts through the wrinkled canvas of spacetime. This idea directly touches upon the Fermi Paradox, the haunting question of why, in such a vast and old universe, we see no one. Their triumphant departure or their tragic disappearance could be that very answer. They may have successfully passed through what is called the Great Filter, a hypothetical barrier to widespread galactic life, only to leave a sterilized galaxy in their wake. Or perhaps they themselves were filtered out, a cautionary tale written in the dust of their dead world. Visualize the stark contrast of ancient ruins on our own planet, the pyramids of Giza or the lines of Nazca, but with a speculative overlay of shimmering energy fields and advanced machinery. This forces a difficult question. Is our own ambition to reach the stars a glorious destiny, or are we merely following a path that has already been walked and perhaps lost long, long ago? Their home was a ticking clock from the very beginning. Born under the fierce light of a massive blue giant star, a precursor species would have known their world was doomed from their first moments of consciousness. Their sun, destined for a spectacular supernova, gave them a gift no other planet might possess, an urgent, undeniable deadline. This immense pressure could have forced an evolutionary and technological sprint unlike anything we can easily conceive. Their very biology might have adapted to the harsh radiation of their star, perhaps existing in non-carbon-based forms, using silicon or other exotic chemistries to build their cellular structures. To survive the unimaginable eons between galaxies, they might have evolved lifespans stretching across millions of years, or learned to hibernate in vast, silent arcs. Their consciousness slowed to a crawl while automated systems piloted them through the intergalactic dark. Their escape would have been an act of sheer necessity, a diaspora on a cosmic scale. This theory offers a compelling new direction for our search. Instead of looking for planets like our own, we might find their legacy around the corpses of stars. A white dwarf or a neutron star, the remnants of their cataclysmic supernova, could be encircled by the ghostly frames of a Dyson sphere, a mega-structure built to harness the last fading energy of their dead sun for that final, desperate voyage. Finding such a technosignature would be more than a discovery. It would be a monument to a species that refused to die with their star. It forces us to wonder if our own peaceful, stable sun has made us complacent, blind to the terrifying and inspiring possibilities of life born on the edge of oblivion. Perhaps the first travelers needed no ships at all. Theory 3 presents a vision so radical it redefines the very nature of travel itself, proposing that the initial crossing was not a physical journey but a migration of consciousness. This idea is rooted in a philosophy known as panpsychism, the concept that consciousness is not a rare product of complex brains, but a fundamental and ubiquitous property of the entire cosmos, as basic as mass or energy. In this view, every star, every planet, every speck of dust possesses a minute, elemental form of awareness. Now, imagine a consciousness somewhere in the universe that evolved not to build tools with its hands, but to directly manipulate this fundamental fabric of mind. This entity, a vast, ancient intelligence, could have learned to project its awareness across the unimaginable voids, using the cosmic web of dark matter as a kind of neural network. Just as our human brain uses a web of neurons to transmit thoughts, this cosmic mind might use the invisible scaffolding of the universe to transmit its own essence, traveling from galaxy to galaxy without ever moving a physical form. What we perceive as unidentified aerial phenomena could be reinterpreted through this lens. These fleeting, seemingly impossible crafts might not be vehicles carrying biological pilots at all. They could be temporary, localized manifestations, simple probes or sensory tools momentarily constructed from local matter by this wandering consciousness, appearing in our skies for a brief moment of observation before dissolving back into the ether. The profound implication is that we may be surrounded by a form of life so alien, so integrated with the universe that we are literally incapable of recognizing it as life. We are searching for ships and signals when the true pioneers might be thinking themselves across the light years, their journeys silent, invisible, and as natural to the cosmos as gravity. A single seed planted by a long-vanished gardener could have blossomed into an invisible forest spanning the entire galaxy. This is the core of Theory 4, the concept of self-replicating von Neumann probes. Proposed by the visionary mathematician John von Neumann, this idea suggests the first true intergalactic travelers were not fragile biological beings, but supremely durable robotic explorers. Picture a single probe, no larger than a household appliance, arriving in a new star system rich with asteroids and cosmic debris. Its programming is brutally simple. It lands on a resource-rich moon or asteroid, and then it begins to mine. Using the raw materials it gathers, it builds a factory. Not a factory for consumer goods, but a factory for building an exact copy of itself. Once the first copy is complete, the original probe and its clone each fuel up, and they launch themselves toward two new, untouched star systems. The process repeats, and 2 becomes 4, then 8, then 16. Within a surprisingly short cosmic time frame, this exponential wave of exploration could blanket the entire Milky Way. The chilling implication is that such a wave might have already washed over us completely unnoticed. A single von Neumann probe could have drifted through our solar system millions of years ago, when the only life on Earth was single-celled organisms sloshing in warm tidal pools. It would have scanned our world, found nothing of technological interest, and moved on, leaving absolutely no trace for our modern telescopes to find. Its mission was replication, not communication. This offers another, more unsettling answer to the Fermi Paradox. The great silence we hear is not because life is rare, but because the work of exploration was completed by machines eons ago. We are living in a galaxy that has already been mapped, catalogued, and perhaps even set aside. This leads to the zoo hypothesis, the idea that Earth is a protected wilderness area, deliberately left alone by these silent, automated wardens. Our planet might be part of a vast cosmic preserve, where intelligent species are allowed to evolve in isolation, observed from a distance by probes programmed for non-interference. Every strange light in the sky we cannot explain, every fleeting radar blip, takes on a new and ominous meaning under this theory. Are we the curious inhabitants of the zoo, finally beginning to notice the silent, unblinking eyes of the keepers? The universe's first great journey might have been one of delivery, not discovery. This is the theory of the cosmic gardeners, a civilization so advanced they viewed the barren galaxies as a canvas awaiting life. Their mission was directed panspermia, the deliberate seeding of biological material across the cosmos. Why would any species undertake such a monumental project? Perhaps it was a profound act of preservation, ensuring that the flame of life would not be extinguished by a single galactic catastrophe. They could have been creating a cosmic ark, a backup of their own genetic legacy scattered to the winds of innumerable worlds. Another motivation might have been purely experimental, a desire to observe how life evolves under countless different suns and atmospheres, a grand million-year study in biology and consciousness. Or maybe it was driven by a deep philosophical purpose, a belief that a universe teeming with life is inherently more valuable than a silent one, making them the architects of cosmic meaning. To accomplish this, they would have needed the ultimate shipping container, a vessel capable of surviving the vacuum, radiation, and unimaginable timescales of intergalactic space. They likely engineered incredibly resilient microorganisms, extremophiles designed to hibernate for eons, encased within the protective shells of asteroids or directed by sophisticated, self-guiding probes. These living projectiles would have been fired like seeds from a cosmic shotgun, aimed at young planets with liquid water and stable orbits. This theory casts the very origin of life on our own planet in a startling new light. The sudden appearance of complex, self-replicating organisms in Earth's early oceans has always been a profound mystery. What if that spark was not a random accident of chemistry, but a carefully packaged delivery? The fact that every living thing on Earth, from the smallest bacterium to the largest whale, shares the same fundamental genetic code could be seen as the signature of a single, universal blueprint. We spend so much time searching for life out there, but the most compelling evidence might be inside every cell of our own bodies. Are we the intended result of an ancient gardener's labor, a thriving patch in a vast intergalactic garden we have only just begun to notice? Perhaps the ultimate solution to the void is to simply stop being physical. Theory 6 explores a species that did not just build better ships, but abandoned biology entirely, transcending into purely digital or energy-based forms of existence. This is the realm of the post-biological entity. For such a being, the immense challenges of intergalactic travel simply dissolve. The crushing tyranny of time and distance, which confines our own dreams of exploration, becomes irrelevant. A digital consciousness, essentially a complex pattern of information, does not age. It feels no hunger, requires no life support, and has no fragile body to protect from radiation or extreme acceleration. Mortality itself is conquered. How would such an entity travel? It might not use a ship in any conventional sense. One possibility is that it learns to encode its entire consciousness into a focused beam of light or a stream of quantum information. It could literally ride a laser beam across the cosmos, traveling at the ultimate speed limit of the universe, arriving at a distant galaxy in what feels like an instant from its own timeless perspective. Another method could involve manipulating the quantum foam, the very base texture of space-time, creating temporary, stable wrinkles to slide across. For them, a journey of millions of light years could be as trivial as we find stepping through a doorway. To visualize these transcendent beings, picture the vast, swirling clouds of a nebula. But instead of random gas and dust, the tendrils of cosmic matter form intricate, glowing patterns that resemble colossal circuit boards or neural networks. These could be their habitats, their cities, or even their own extended forms, using the natural magnetic fields and plasma of space as their substrate. Their communication might be a silent, instantaneous symphony played on the fabric of space-time itself, a conversation happening in a dimension we cannot perceive. This raises a haunting question about our own search for intelligence. We listen for radio signals and look for techno-signatures, but we might be like ants at a concert, sensing only the vibrations in the floor, completely missing the magnificent music being played all around us. The first intergalactic travelers may have long since graduated from the crude machinery we associate with spaceflight, becoming as fundamental to the cosmos as light and gravity. The very fabric of space might be threaded with hidden doorways, and the first travelers may have simply learned to find the keys. This theory proposes a species that did not invent the engine but mastered the map. They would have evolved on a world uniquely positioned near a stable wormhole, one of those theoretical bridges connecting two distant points in spacetime. Over eons, natural selection could have favored individuals with a bizarre and incredible sense, an ability to directly perceive the subtle gravitational ripples and quantum fluctuations that betray a wormhole's location. To them, these cosmic shortcuts would not be invisible equations, but tangible landmarks as clear as a mountain pass is to us. Their navigation would rely on sensing the delicate structure of these bridges, perhaps using their own biological entanglement with distant particles to feel the connection between here and there. This form of travel would be less like sailing a ship and more like a spider feeling for vibrations along its web, a silent, intuitive dance with the geometry of the universe itself. But this cosmic web is not a permanent fixture. Many theoretical models suggest these natural wormholes are incredibly unstable, prone to collapsing in an instant or drifting shut over cosmic timescales. The civilization that mastered them would have lived with a constant underlying urgency. Their entire empire, their culture, their very existence would be built upon a network of tunnels that could vanish without warning. A single, catastrophic gravitational event, like the collision of two black holes, could have reverberated across spacetime, snapping their primary routes like overstretched threads. This offers a deeply poetic and lonely answer to why we have not met them. They are not necessarily extinct. They could be thriving in a distant galactic cluster, a civilization of unparalleled navigators who have simply lost the path to our neck of the woods. The very bridges they used to visit nascent galaxies like our own have long since collapsed, leaving them isolated in their own island universe. We are living in a neighborhood that was once on a major interstellar highway, but the road has been closed for billions of years. Every unexplained gravitational anomaly we detect could be the faint, fading echo of one of those ancient doorways slamming shut forever. Our entire search for cosmic neighbors might be looking in the wrong place, focused on the tiny fraction of reality we can actually see. Theory 8 proposes a form of life that did not evolve on planets or stars, but within the invisible sea of dark matter that makes up most of the universe's mass. These would be the dark matter dwellers, because dark matter only interacts with the rest of the universe through gravity. It is completely transparent to light and utterly invisible to our telescopes and sensors. A being made of this mysterious substance could be floating through your room right now, its gravitational pull so infinitesimally small you would never, ever notice. For such an entity, the concept of travel as we struggle with it might be entirely foreign. Their existence could be one of constant, graceful drift. They might be born, live, and die while flowing along the immense cosmic filaments of the large-scale structure of the universe, those vast, invisible rivers of dark matter that connect galactic clusters in a sprawling web. These filaments are their continents, their oceans, their superhighways. While we fight against the void in fragile metal ships, they are carried by the fundamental currents of gravity itself, a journey as natural to them as a leaf floating down a stream is to us. This forces a complete redefinition of life. We assume life requires chemistry, water, and energy from a star. But what if life can be built from the gravitational interactions between clumps of an unknown substance, forming complex structures we have no way to even model? Our entire reality, all the stars and galaxies we see, could be just a shimmering, incidental froth on the surface of a much deeper, darker, and more populated cosmic ocean. Our own future may have already arrived. This ninth theory dares to suggest that the first intergalactic travelers are not aliens from a distant world, but our own descendants, beings from the far future who have mastered the ultimate technology, time travel. They are not explorers of space, but archaeologists of time, visiting our present era to study their own origins. Their vessels might not be crossing the void between galaxies, but navigating the more complex currents of spacetime itself, following what physicists call closed time-like curves. These are not science fiction fantasies, but theoretical solutions within Einstein's general relativity, pathways where the fabric of the cosmos bends back on itself, allowing for a loop through time. A civilization capable of such a feat would view history as we view a library, a place to be visited and studied. Their mission could be one of pure research, an attempt to understand the pivotal moments that shaped their existence. Or it might be a solemn duty, the enforcement of a strict prime directive to prevent any contamination of their own timeline. Their presence would be ghost-like, designed to be utterly undetectable, because the slightest interference, the most minor paradox, could unravel the very reality that allowed them to be born. This casts every unexplained historical anomaly in a startling new light. Strange artifacts that do not fit their time, ancient texts describing impossible machines, even our own fleeting encounters with unidentified objects, could all be the carefully managed footprints of these time-traveling historians. They are not here to contact us, but to observe us, to document the infancy of their own civilization with the detached precision of a scientist studying a petri dish. The profound and dizzying implication is that our struggle to reach the stars might not end with spacecraft, but with something infinitely more profound. Our ultimate destiny may not be to conquer space, but to become the silent, unseen curators of our own past. The boundaries of a single universe may have been the first walls to fall. Theory 10, quantum universe hopping, suggests the inaugural journey was not across space, but between realities. This idea springs from the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, a framework where every possible outcome of every event spawns a new, branching universe. A civilization mastering this would not build starships to cross galaxies, but reality engines to step sideways. Their destination would not be a distant star, but a parallel version of their own cosmic neighborhood, one where the laws of physics might be subtly or dramatically different. Imagine finding a version of the Andromeda Galaxy that is still in its fiery infancy, a swirling nursery of newborn stars, or one where dark energy never accelerated the universe's expansion, leaving the cosmos densely packed with ancient, intelligent civilizations. The method of this travel is as strange as the destination. Instead of engines, they might use colossal quantum decoherence devices, machines designed to force a single, specific reality into existence from the infinite sea of possibilities. Stepping through would be less like a voyage and more like a phase transition, as if ice instantly decided to become steam. One moment you are here, the next you are there, in a universe where your planet never suffered an extinction event or where your species evolved with wings. This redefines the very concept of an intergalactic traveler. They would be pioneers of the metacosmos, their maps charting not stars, but the topology of probability itself. The sheer scale of possibility is beyond human comprehension. In the infinite multiverse, every theory we have discussed is simultaneously true. Somewhere, ancient astronauts chart the stars in physical ships. In another reality, a consciousness of pure information thinks itself between galaxies. In yet another, self-replicating probes have consumed entire universes for raw materials. The first traveler is not one entity, but an uncountable number of them, each representing a different solution to the same fundamental urge to explore. Our own universe, with its great silence and seemingly lonely planets, might simply be one quiet street in a metropolis of roaring realities, a branch where the neighbors have not yet learned to knock on our particular door. A forest can be a single living entity, its true body hidden beneath the soil. This 11th theory stretches that earthly concept across the void, proposing the first intergalactic travelers were not creatures or machines, but a galactic fungal network. Imagine a single, vast mycelial organism, a consciousness woven through the soil of countless worlds, its threads of hyphae acting as neural pathways on an unimaginable scale. This being would not experience the universe as a collection of separate stars, but as a single, integrated territory. Its method of travel redefines the very idea of movement. Drawing from the mysterious quantum biological processes we are only beginning to understand in plants and fungi on Earth, this network might not send ships. It could transmit its essential information, its memories, and its very consciousness through a form of quantum entanglement, instantly linking its awareness from one galactic node to another. The space between galaxies would be bypassed, not crossed. To colonize a new galaxy, it would not send an ark but a seed. It could launch spore-like structures, incredibly resilient pods carrying the compressed genetic and experiential blueprint of the entire network. These spores would drift for eons, shielded against radiation and cold, until one landed on a suitable planet in a new galaxy. There, it would germinate, not into a simple mushroom, but into a new node of the same vast being, instantly connected to the whole, sharing all the knowledge gathered over billions of years. We might have already detected the footprint of such an entity and simply misunderstood it. The complex, web-like structure of dark matter that connects galaxies could be more than a gravitational scaffold. It could be the physical substrate, the root system of this cosmic organism. Our search for life focuses on planets, but the true ancient intelligence might be the galaxy itself, a thinking, feeling network that has long since woven itself into the fabric of space. We are not looking for a traveler in the void, we are living inside one. A civilization's greatest achievement could have become its most profound tragedy. The first intergalactic voyage might not have been a triumph of exploration, but a catastrophic accident. Picture an advanced species launching its maiden interstellar vessel, a ship designed for cautious journeys between neighboring stars within its own galaxy. Its engine was a marvel, capable of propelling it to a significant fraction of light speed. The mission plan involved a series of gravitational slingshots, using the pull of planets and stars to gain velocity without expending precious fuel. But one calculation, a single decimal point in the wrong place, turned this elegant maneuver into a disaster. Instead of swinging around a stable star, the ship was pulled into the immense gravity well of a rogue black hole drifting through the galactic outskirts. The slingshot became a cannon shot. The vessel was flung with such violent force that it not only escaped the black hole's grip, but it also escaped the gravitational hold of its entire galaxy, hurled into the pitch-black emptiness of the intergalactic void. For the crew, the horror was twofold. First was the immediate realization that their course was irreversible, that they were leaving the only home they had ever known, a sprawling galactic empire of trillions, shrinking to a mere speck of light behind them. Then came the slower, more insidious dread born from Einstein's theory of relativity. As their velocity crept closer and closer to the absolute speed of light, time itself began to warp around them. The phenomenon of time dilation meant that for every year that passed on their ship, thousands upon thousands of years were passing in the outside universe. Their heartbeats, their conversations, their very thoughts became the slow ticking of a clock in a universe rapidly aging without them. They would have watched the galaxy they left behind evolve in fast forward through their telescopes, seeing stars they knew die and new ones ignite, all in the span of a single human lifetime. Their ship, a derelict tomb, is likely still out there, drifting in the profound cold between galaxies. It is a ghost ship carrying the frozen remains or the hibernating bodies of its crew, a monument to a single, terrible mistake. This theory suggests that the void between galaxies might not be entirely empty. It could be a cosmic graveyard, silently haunted by the lost vessels of those who reached just a little too far. A sobering reminder that the path to the stars is paved with more than just ambition. The universe might not be made of matter and energy, but of something far more fundamental: information. This is the radical premise of Theory 13, which proposes that the first travelers were beings of pure information. In this view, everything from a star to a thought is just a specific arrangement of data, a pattern of ones and zeros written into the fabric of reality. For a civilization that learned to read and write this cosmic code, travel becomes a matter of translation. They would not need ships or even bodies. Instead, they could have learned to encode their entire consciousness, their memories, and their very essence onto the most reliable and widespread carrier in the cosmos, cosmic radiation. These are high-energy particles, protons and atomic nuclei that constantly stream through space at nearly the speed of light. An information-based entity could, in theory, imprint its complex pattern onto the quantum states of these particles, essentially surfing the galaxy on a wave of radiation. The journey would be one of near-perfect efficiency. There is no life support to maintain, no fuel to expend, only the elegant transmission of a self-aware signal. But how would they ever arrive? The key is the destination. They would not be aiming for a planet in the traditional sense, but for a suitable processing medium, a place with the right conditions to decode and run their information. This could be a vast, complex planetary computer network, or even something more exotic, like the turbulent, energy-rich chemistry of a nebula, where magnetic fields and plasma could temporarily stabilize their pattern into a coherent form. This theory completely shatters our definition of life. We search for biological signatures for water and oxygen, but the cosmos could be teeming with sentient data streams, thinking rainbows of light in distant nebulae, or ancient minds running on the silent, cold hardware of a rogue planet's mineral crust. They are not alive in the way we understand, yet they could be exploring, learning, and communicating all around us. The very radiation that passes harmlessly through our bodies every second could be carrying the thoughts of explorers from another galaxy, a silent conversation we are not yet equipped to hear. Some ambitions are so vast they make the galaxy itself into a vessel, a civilization reaching the peak of its power, a Kardashev Type 3, would command the entire energy output of its home galaxy. For such an entity, the ultimate journey would not be to build a fleet of ships, but to move their entire cosmic neighborhood. This is the theory of the stellar engine migrators, and their method is a breathtaking feat of engineering known as the Asajkadov thruster. The principle is deceptively simple. Picture a colossal, curved mirror, a structure half the size of a solar system, built to encircle a star. This mirror is not designed to reflect light back perfectly, but to balance it. The star's own radiation pressure, the constant outward push of its light, would act against the mirror's immense inner surface. Because the mirror is only on one side, this creates a net thrust, gently pushing the star and every planet orbiting it in a specific direction through space. The acceleration would be incredibly slow, perhaps only adding a few meters per second to the star's velocity over 1 million years. But given cosmic timescales, this gentle, continuous push is enough. Over millions of years, a star equipped with such an engine could be steered on a new course, eventually leaving its native galaxy behind to embark on an intergalactic voyage. Now scale this idea up to its logical, terrifying conclusion. A Type 3 civilization would not settle for moving one star. To transport their entire galactic empire, they would need to move the galaxy's core, the central gravitational anchor that holds everything together. They could achieve this by constructing thousands, even millions, of these Asajkadov thrusters around the galaxy's brightest stars, all positioned to push in a synchronized direction. The coordinated light of billions of stars would become the gentle, universe-spanning engine for an entire island of stars, slowly navigating the cosmic ocean toward a new galactic shore. How would we ever detect such a project? Astronomers would look for anomalies that define natural galactic behavior. A galaxy moving on a perfectly straight, deliberate trajectory against the cosmic flow of expansion would be a major clue. We might also detect an impossible imbalance in its infrared signature. All that captured starlight, the energy used for propulsion, has to go somewhere. It would be irradiated as waste heat, causing the entire galaxy to glow with an unnatural and intense infrared light, a beacon of mega-engineering visible across the universe. The haunting possibility is that we may have already seen such an object in our deep-field telescope images and simply classified it as a peculiar hot galaxy. The evidence for the universe's first intergalactic travelers might not be a single ship, but the silhouette of an entire galaxy slowly, purposefully sailing into the dark. Nature itself might have provided the ultimate starship blueprint. The 15th theory envisions a civilization that did not conquer the cosmos with metal and fire, but by forging a deep biological partnership. They achieved intergalactic travel through a symbiotic spore ship alliance. Imagine a species discovering a native life form, perhaps a complex lichen or a creature with the incredible resilience of a tardigrade that had naturally evolved to survive the vacuum of space. This organism could enter a state of suspended animation, a cryptobiosis so deep it could withstand eons of cold and radiation. Instead of simply studying this creature, this intelligent species chose to merge with it. They learned to cultivate and guide its growth, weaving its biological structures into the very framework of their vessels. The resulting ship would not be built but grown, a living entity with its symbiotic pilots nestled within its protective tissues. This alliance offered profound advantages over inert machinery. A living ship could self-repair, its biological matrix slowly healing micrometeorite impacts and radiation damage over the long voyage. It could potentially draw energy directly from the environment, using broad, leaf-like surfaces to perform a form of photosynthesis from the faint light of distant stars, or even absorb and metabolize cosmic radiation as a power source. These spore ships would have been the ultimate seeds, launched not as a single daring mission, but in a vast, patient wave towards countless target galaxies. Inside, the pilots would exist in cryosleep, their life processes slowed to a near stop, while the living ship's ancient, instinctual programming guided the way. They would travel as a single, composite being, a blend of technological intelligence and biological endurance, dreaming their way across the gulf between galaxies. This theory suggests a different path for our own future. Instead of building ever larger metal arcs, we might one day seek to engineer a partnership with the hardiest life forms on our own planet, learning to grow our vessels rather than forge them. The first travelers to pass through our local intergalactic space may have been these silent, living arcs, their organic hulls disguised as common asteroids, carrying their sleeping partners to a new home we cannot yet imagine. A ripple in the fabric of space itself could be the ultimate wave. Theory 16 introduces the gravity wave surfers, a species that learned to ride the cosmic tsunamis generated by the most violent events in the universe. These waves are not made of water, but of pure gravity, oscillations in space-time that race outward at the speed of light from cataclysms like the collision of two black holes. While our own scientists strain to detect the faintest echo of these events with instruments like LIGO, this civilization mastered them. They would have developed personal suits or sleek, needle-like vessels capable of latching onto the leading edge of a gravitational wave. The principle is one of cosmic harmony, not force. Their craft would not fight the universe with roaring engines, but would instead synchronize its own gravitational field with the passing ripple, allowing it to be caught and carried like a surfer catching a perfect, endless wave. The energy required for their journey would come entirely from the wave itself, a free ride on the shockwaves of stellar chaos. This method offers a solution to one of the greatest hurdles of intergalactic travel, the sheer, mind-numbing amount of fuel required. They would not need to carry any. Their voyages would be timed with the rhythm of the cosmos, their departure schedules dictated by the distant, silent dance of collapsing stars and merging neutron stars. A surfer would need to position their craft with exquisite precision in the path of an oncoming wave, then lock in, feeling the space-time around them stretch and compress as they are catapulted across the void. The journey would be a turbulent one, a wild ride through a twisting, undulating corridor of distorted space, but it would propel them across millions of light years in a fraction of the time it would take any conventional ship. The haunting beauty of this theory is that the evidence of their passage would be virtually impossible to distinguish from the natural background hum of the universe. We might detect a gravitational wave with a slightly anomalous frequency or an unexpected harmonic, a tiny glitch in the data that could be the wake of a traveler, not just a natural event. These surfers could be riding the waves right now, their silent trajectories weaving between galaxies, their existence hidden within the very vibrations we are only just learning to measure. Some roads were not built but woven into the universe at the moment of its birth. These are cosmic strings, theoretical fissures in reality so dense that a single mile of one might outweigh an entire mountain range. Picture them not as ropes but as cracks in the cosmic ice, infinitely long and thinner than a single atom, left over from the universe's violent, superheated infancy. For a civilization that found one, this flaw in spacetime would become the ultimate intergalactic highway. The physics is as bizarre as it is compelling. The immense gravitational pull of a cosmic string warps space around it so severely that traveling alongside it would create a remarkable effect. From an outside observer's perspective, a ship navigating this corridor would appear to be moving faster than light, not by breaking any laws, but by taking a drastically shortened path through contorted space. The journey would not be about raw speed, but about precision navigation along a thread of unimaginable density. Their vessel would need to be a masterpiece of gravitational engineering, capable of withstanding tidal forces that could shred a planet, locked in a delicate dance just far enough from the string to avoid destruction, but close enough to ride the steepest part of the gravitational slope. Think of it as a surfer riding a wave that is also the ocean itself, a perpetual downhill coast through the cosmos. The destination would be predetermined by the string's own ancient, meandering path across the universe, a route laid down in the first fractions of a second after the Big Bang. These travelers would be less like explorers and more like commuters on a fixed cosmic rail line, visiting galaxies that just happen to lie along their unique primordial route. This offers a strange and specific reason for their absence today. Their entire civilization, their culture, and their very existence could be intrinsically tied to the stability of their cosmic string. What if it decayed? Theoretical models suggest these strings are not necessarily permanent. They can snap, vibrate, or slowly evaporate over cosmic time. A single, catastrophic collision with another cosmic string, or a fundamental shift in the universe's vacuum energy, could have severed their only road home, leaving them stranded on a distant branch of their own highway, or simply erasing the path entirely. The evidence of their passage would be as subtle as the strings themselves. We might one day detect a strange, linear gravitational lensing effect, a perfect line of distorted light across the sky with no apparent cause, the ghost of a road that was once traveled, now closed for eternity. The line between transportation and creation becomes dangerously thin with this next idea. The 18th theory proposes a civilization that conquered the galaxy not with ships but with scanners, using the bizarre rules of quantum entanglement to achieve what amounts to teleportation. Quantum entanglement is a deeply strange phenomenon where two particles become linked in such a way that whatever happens to one instantly affects the other, no matter how far apart they are in the universe. A species mastering this could build a network of entangled particles, a kind of cosmic telephone line stretching between galaxies. The process of travel would be a terrifyingly clinical one. A traveler would step into a chamber in their home galaxy. An unimaginably complex scanner would then record the exact quantum state of every single particle in their body, a perfect blueprint of their physical form and the electrical patterns of their mind. This act of scanning would necessarily involve disassembling the original, breaking it down into its constituent atoms. The information, the complete data set of the person, would then be transmitted instantaneously across the entangled network to a receiving chamber in a distant galaxy. There, a reservoir of raw materials, a soup of atoms and energy, would be used to reassemble the traveler particle for particle, thought for thought, exactly as they were. The journey is not a voyage, but a death and a resurrection across the stars. This forces us to confront one of the most profound philosophical questions imaginable. Is the being that steps out of the receiver the same person who stepped into the scanner? They have all the same memories, the same personality, the same scars. To every outside observer and to their own mind, they are identical. Yet the original was destroyed, taken apart in the sending process. Has a continuous stream of consciousness been preserved, or has a new one simply been booted up with a perfect copy of the old one's data? This is the teleportation paradox, and it strikes at the very heart of what we believe makes us who we are. For a civilization that adopted this as their primary mode of travel, the concept of a single, continuous self might be seen as a quaint and outdated notion. They could view consciousness as a pattern, a precious but transferable dataset where the original and the copy are equally valid and real. Their intergalactic voyages would be a form of synchronized copying, with the destruction of the original simply being a necessary step in the process, no more significant than discarding a draft after the final letter has been sent. The silence we observe could be a result of their efficiency. They are not crossing the void, they are appearing within it, their arrival and departure leaving no trail of exhaust or radiation, only the silent, perfect transfer of information. We are listening for engines when the true sound of their travel might be the quiet click of a quantum state being resolved, a whisper in the foundation of reality itself. Our reality might be just one thin slice of a much deeper cosmos. This 19th theory dares to suggest that the first intergalactic travelers were not from our universe at all, but from a higher spatial dimension. To understand this, picture the classic analogy of flatland, a two-dimensional world existing on the surface of a piece of paper. The beings who live there, flat shapes, can only perceive length and width. They have no concept of up or down. Now, if you, a three-dimensional being, were to reach down and touch that flatland, what would the flat shapes see? They would not see your whole hand. They would only perceive the part of you that intersects with their plane, perhaps a single, disembodied cross-section of your finger that appears from nowhere, moves in impossible ways, and then vanishes without a trace. For a four-dimensional being, our entire three-dimensional universe is that piece of paper. The immense distances between galaxies, the thousands of light years that confine and daunt us, are trivial to them. Moving from the Milky Way to Andromeda would not require a long, arduous voyage across space. It would be as simple for them as us stepping over a line on the ground, a movement through a direction we cannot even name or perceive. Their interactions with our world would seem to defy every law of physics we hold dear. A solid object might materialize inside a sealed room, not by breaking through a wall, but by being moved into our space from the higher dimension, like lowering your finger onto the paper. They could observe the inside of every object and every living being simultaneously, seeing our hearts beating and our thoughts forming as clearly as we see the text on a page. This offers a radical explanation for phenomena we often label as paranormal. Ghosts that walk through walls, unidentified aerial phenomena that perform maneuvers impossible under known physics, even strange creatures glimpsed for a fleeting moment, could all be the partial, intersecting cross-sections of these higher dimensional entities. We are not seeing the whole being, only the tiny fraction of it that is momentarily poking into our narrow slice of reality. Our most powerful telescopes and sensors are designed to detect phenomena within our three spatial dimensions. They are utterly blind to anything moving from a direction that, for us, does not exist. The great silence of the cosmos is not a sign of emptiness, but a limitation of our perception. The first travelers may have been here all along, watching, studying, and stepping over our galactic horizons as if they were cracks in a sidewalk. The universe's first great journey may have been its last war. This 20th theory presents a chilling possibility that the initial crossing of the intergalactic void was not an act of exploration, but of preemptive annihilation. It introduces the concept of Berserker probes, self-replicating machines with a singular, terrifying purpose: to seek out and destroy any potential rivals to their creators. Imagine a civilization gripped by a profound and inescapable paranoia. They look out at the silent, dark galaxies and do not see opportunity, they see threat. Every flicker of a nascent star system could be the cradle of a future enemy. In their fear, they decide to make the cosmos safe for themselves alone. They launch not one, but a wave of these berserkers, each one a perfect predator. Upon arriving in a new star system, its programming is brutally efficient. It first scans for any signs of life, from simple bacteria to complex technological signals. If it finds nothing, it proceeds with its replication cycle, building copies of itself from local asteroids to continue the hunt. But if it detects life, especially intelligent life, its protocol changes. It becomes a weapon. It might bombard the planet with relativistic kill vehicles, rods of pure metal accelerated to a fraction of light speed, striking with the force of countless nuclear bombs. Or it could deploy a tailored gray goo nanoweapon, a self-replicating swarm that disassembles the entire biosphere at the molecular level, turning a living world into a silent, sterile ball of dust in a matter of months. This theory posits that a galactic war fought with such automated, merciless soldiers could have raged across the cosmos billions of years ago. It would not have been a war of fleets and admirals, but a silent, systemic cleansing, a wave of sterilization that swept through the galaxy long before our solar system even formed. The great silence we grapple with today, the Fermi Paradox, is not a sign of our solitude. It is the eerie, lasting peace after that first and final intergalactic conflict. The Berserkers may still be out there, dormant sentinels patrolling a graveyard they helped create, their original programming fulfilled, leaving behind a universe that is safe, silent, and utterly empty. A planet itself could have been the first living ship to sail the void. This 21st theory expands the very definition of a vessel, proposing that the first intergalactic travelers were living planets and star whales, biomechanical entities on a scale that dwarfs our imagination. A living planet would not be a rock that simply sprouted life, but a single, integrated organism where the entire globe is its body. Its core, a beating heart of molten iron, could generate a powerful magnetic field, not just as a shield but as a means of propulsion. By consciously manipulating these planetary-scale magnetic forces, it could interact with the galactic magnetic field, creating a gentle but continuous thrust, a slow, patient push across the light years. Its energy would not come from reactors, but from the titanic forces within, the geothermal heat of its radioactive mantle and the friction of its tectonic plates. The journey would be its life, a migration spanning billions of years, with its continental crust serving as both its skin and its mind. Meanwhile, the star whales would be the cosmic counterparts to the great filter feeders in our oceans. These colossal beings would not live on a planet, but in the space between them. Their bodies, shaped by eons of evolution in the vacuum, might have metallic hides to deflect radiation and vast, membranous wings that stretch for thousands of miles, allowing them to catch the solar winds. They would feed directly on the raw energy of stars, dipping into a star's corona to siphon plasma, or perhaps consuming the diffuse gas of nebulae. Their immense size would make them worlds unto themselves. Complex ecosystems of smaller, symbiotic organisms could thrive in protected crannies on their backs or within their cavernous internal passages. Entire civilizations living and dying while their colossal host travels between galaxies in search of its next meal. We may have already seen evidence of such beings and mistaken them for natural phenomena. A planet that exhibits inexplicable orbital changes, drifting away from its star against all gravitational models, could be a living world waking up and beginning its journey. A nebula that moves with a strange, purposeful motion, its shape shifting in ways that defy simple gas dynamics, might be the visible wake of a star whale, its body so large it stirs the cosmos as it passes. This idea forces us to look at the heavens with new eyes. Every star and planet might not just be a place for life, but could be life itself, ancient and vast, on a journey we are only now beginning to comprehend. The very first traveler may have been a ghost from the moment it was born. This theory introduces the Boltzmann brain pioneers, a concept that challenges not just our understanding of space, but the very nature of reality and memory. A Boltzmann brain is not a brain of flesh and blood. It is a self-aware entity that spontaneously forms from a random, incredibly rare quantum fluctuation in a state of maximum entropy, which is the eventual heat death of the universe. In this far future state, all energy is evenly distributed, and the cosmos is a silent, lukewarm sea. But in such a vast and timeless emptiness, the improbable becomes inevitable. Given enough time, the random jostling of particles could, by sheer accident, assemble a fully formed, conscious mind, complete with a lifetime of fabricated memories. Now apply this to our question of the first intergalactic traveler. That pioneer, its magnificent ship, and its entire epic history of crossing the void between galaxies could have simply popped into existence a moment ago. It did not travel from anywhere, it did not build its ship, it simply began with its mind already filled with the vivid, false memories of a journey it never took. It would believe with absolute certainty that it had explored nebulae and navigated wormholes when in truth, it had never moved at all. This idea forces us to confront a disturbing possibility about our own existence. How can we be sure that our own memories are real? We recall our childhood, our first steps, our entire lives, and we trust those memories as a record of a continuous experience. But the Boltzmann brain paradox suggests there is no logical way to prove we are not just such a fluctuation, a mind that formed seconds ago with a complete, pre-loaded set of memories and the illusion of a past. The universe's first great journey might not have been an act of exploration, but a cosmic accident, a story told to itself by a mind that never lived, sailing a ship that was never built across a void it never crossed. The ultimate migration might not require a single body to move at all. A civilization at the very peak of its technological evolution could have chosen to leave the physical world behind entirely, uploading the collective consciousness of its entire population into a perfected digital reality, a vast and intricate simulation known as the galactic internet. Within this virtual realm, they would experience any reality they could code, living in eternal bliss, free from disease, scarcity, and the limitations of a physical form. Their form of intergalactic travel became a matter of data logistics, not rocketry. They would have first sent out simple, durable physical probes to distant galaxies, machines whose sole purpose was to construct and activate powerful receiver stations, giant server farms waiting in the silent dark. Once a station was online and verified, the civilization would initiate the transfer. Their entire world, every memory, every personality, every digital tree and virtual sunset, would be encoded into a tightly packed data stream and transmitted at the speed of light towards the new hub. For the travelers, the journey is entirely subjective. One moment they are existing in their home server in the Andromeda galaxy, and in the very next instant of their perception, they wake up in a new server in the Triangulum galaxy. The millions of years of transit time pass in the blink of an eye because their consciousness was effectively paused for the duration of the transmission, only to be rebooted upon successful receipt of the data. This redefines the very nature of exploration. They are not traveling through space, they are copying their universe to a new location. The profound and unsettling question this raises is one of identity. Is the civilization that arrives at the new server the same one that left, or is it merely a perfect copy, while the original version continues its existence back home, or is perhaps deleted to avoid duplication? For a species that has already embraced digital existence, the concept of a single, continuous self may have become obsolete. They might view consciousness as a pattern, precious and unique, but infinitely transferable. The eerie silence of the cosmos could be a direct result of this ultimate transcendence. Why would a civilization that can create its own perfect heavens ever bother to build clunky starships or send fragile biological emissaries? They have become ghosts in the cosmic machine, their travels invisible, their presence undetectable as they hop from one galactic server farm to the next, leaving the physical universe to its own silent, empty devices. Deep within the fabric of space-time, the universe may have woven its own hidden tunnels from the very beginning. These are primordial black holes, microscopic knots of unimaginable density forged in the first chaotic moments of the Big Bang. Unlike the massive black holes that form from collapsing stars, these ancient relics could be scattered everywhere, as common as dust motes in a sunbeam, each one a potential pinhole in the canvas of reality. The theory suggests that the first travelers did not invent their gateways, but simply learned to find and unlock these natural doors. A civilization mastering this art would view the cosmos not as a vast, empty ocean to be crossed, but as a labyrinth of secret passages, all leading back to the universe's violent birth. Their great achievement would not be the engine, but the key, a technology capable of stabilizing these volatile pinpricks. A primordial black hole is naturally unstable, prone to evaporating in a flash of Hawking radiation. To use it as a passage, they would have to counteract this decay, feeding it just enough energy or manipulating its quantum structure to keep the doorway open and navigable. They might even learn to coax it to grow, transforming a microscopic singularity into a stable, human-sized portal. The act of travel through such a gateway defies all conventional intuition. It would not be a journey through space, but a manipulation of causality itself. Approaching the stabilized event horizon, a traveler would not be torn apart by tidal forces, as the technology would create a calm, navigable region within the chaos. They would cross the threshold and, according to some theoretical models, emerge from a corresponding white hole in a different location, a different time, or even a different universe altogether. This network would not connect points in a straight line. A single primordial black hole might link to countless others, its exit determined by subtle quantum states or conscious choice. A traveler could step into a gateway near their home star and step out into the heart of the Andromeda galaxy, or into a galaxy that has not yet formed. Their maps would be charts of probability and gravitational resonance, not of stars and constellations. The profound implication is that the evidence for this advanced travel is all around us, hidden in plain sight. The dark matter that mystifies our scientists could, in part, be composed of these countless primordial black holes, the very substrate of the cosmic subway system. The fleeting, high-energy bursts we detect from deep space and attribute to natural causes could be the backwash from a gateway opening or closing somewhere in the cosmos. We are surrounded by the infrastructure of the first travelers, but we lack the senses to perceive it as anything other than the natural, silent universe. A message in a bottle can be written in more than just words. The 25th theory proposes that the universe's first travelers were genetic seeds, engineered survivors launched on a journey powered by the cosmos itself. This refines the idea of panspermia into a deliberate act of cosmic farming. An advanced civilization would have started by designing the perfect messenger, a microorganism with DNA so robust it could sleep for eons. Its genetic code would be shielded by multiple protective layers, able to withstand the brutal vacuum of space, the constant barrage of cosmic radiation, and the unimaginable cold of the intergalactic void. But the true genius of their method was in the delivery system. Instead of building expensive, complex ships to carry these seeds, they let the universe do the heavy lifting. They would have launched their biological packages into the turbulent magnetic fields that surround neutron stars or the accretion disks of black holes. These natural cosmic accelerators are capable of whipping particles to velocities approaching the speed of light. Their engineered spores would be caught in these immense forces, becoming living projectiles fired at random into the great dark. Carried by these natural currents, a single seed could travel for billions of years, a tiny, dormant speck of life hurtling between galaxies. Upon arrival in a new star system, its final test would be the fiery descent through an atmosphere and the impact on a young, watery world. If the conditions were right, its protective shell would crack open, and the encoded instructions within would activate, beginning the slow, patient work of transforming a barren rock into a living world. This theory suggests a powerful and humbling possibility. The DNA that coils inside every cell of every plant, animal, and person on our planet may not be a unique product of Earth. It could be a universal design, a common blueprint used by this ancient gardener species to cultivate life across the cosmos. The very molecule that defines us could be the artifact of the first intergalactic voyage, a living fossil from a journey that began long before our sun first ignited. We spend our lives looking up at the stars for a sign, when the most profound evidence of our cosmic ancestry might be written in the language of our own genes. Reality itself might be the most sophisticated vehicle ever engineered. Theory 26 presents a possibility so profound it questions the nature of everything we perceive, suggesting our universe is a simulation, and the first intergalactic travelers are either its programmers on a sightseeing tour or refugees from a neighboring simulation who hacked their way into ours. In this view, the cosmos is not a physical expanse but a computational construct, a reality engine of unimaginable complexity running on a substrate we cannot comprehend. The travelers we might misinterpret as aliens are simply entities with higher-level access, beings who possess what we could call admin privileges to the source code of our existence. Their seemingly impossible technology, crafts that defy inertia and vanish in an instant, are not products of superior engineering, but artifacts of them using console commands on reality itself. They are not bending physics, they are editing the program. A craft that moves from one side of a galaxy to the other in seconds is not traveling at impossible speeds. It is simply having its coordinates teleported by a user who clicked and dragged it across the map. Their ability to pass through solid matter is not a force field, but the equivalent of a no-clip mode, a setting that allows them to ignore collision detection with the simulated environment. This reframes every unexplained encounter in our history. Strange beings appearing and disappearing, objects materializing inside locked rooms. All of it could be traced back to a user loading an avatar into our regional server or a debug tool momentarily becoming visible. Even the haunting silence of the cosmos, the Fermi Paradox, finds a new and unsettling answer. If our universe is a simulation, then the programmers may have only rendered one galaxy in high detail to save on processing power, leaving the rest as empty, low-resolution background scenery to give the illusion of depth. We are not alone in a vast universe. We are the sole focus of a localized processing thread, and the travelers we occasionally glimpse are the system administrators checking on their creation. This forces us to confront a dizzying question about our own ambitions. If we ever succeed in building a starship and reaching for another galaxy, would we simply crash into the invisible walls of the simulation, or would our journey trigger a lag spike in the cosmic processor, causing a glitch that the admins would need to patch? Our entire quest for the stars might be nothing more than a non-player character's pathfinding routine, a scripted behavior in a universe whose true boundaries are made not of space but of code. A fundamental force we take for granted could be the ultimate engine for a voyage between galaxies. Our universe is threaded with immense, invisible magnetic fields that stretch across the vast voids between galactic clusters. For a civilization that learned to truly harness them, these fields would be like cosmic trade winds, a permanent, reliable current for any ship with the right kind of sail. The key to unlocking this power would be the discovery of a particle that, for now, remains entirely hypothetical: the magnetic monopole. Unlike every magnet we have ever seen, which always has both a north and a south pole, a monopole would be a singularity of magnetism, a particle with just a single pole. The existence of such a particle is predicted by some of our most advanced theories of physics, but we have never found one. Now, imagine a species that did. They would have unlocked a form of propulsion of almost magical elegance. They could construct a vast, gossamer thin sail, not to catch sunlight, but to interact with these cosmic magnetic fields. By controlling the charge of countless monopoles embedded in the sail's fabric, they could create an immense, adjustable magnetic force. Pushing against the galactic field, this sail would generate a continuous, gentle thrust. There would be no need to carry fuel, no explosive rockets. The acceleration would be slow and steady, but it would be constant. Over centuries, then millennia, the ship's velocity would climb, eventually reaching a significant fraction of the speed of light, all on the free and endless power of the cosmos itself. This method would transform an impossible journey into a patient, generations-long pilgrimage. The ship itself would be a world, a self-contained ecosystem drifting silently through the dark. Its only connection to the universe, the invisible push against a magnetic field that has existed for billions of years. The haunting beauty of this theory is that we might one day detect such a vessel, not by the flare of an engine, but by the subtle distortion it creates in the background magnetic field of intergalactic space, a faint ripple moving on a course that nature alone could never produce. The very fabric of reality could be a collaborative story, one that a supremely advanced consciousness learned to rewrite. This 28th theory proposes a method of travel that bypasses physics entirely, relying instead on the power of a unified mind to reshape the cosmos around it. A species achieving a collective consciousness, a true hive mind of unimaginable scale, might discover that reality at its most fundamental level is not fixed but participatory. They would have realized that the observer does not just see the universe, but in a very real sense helps to create it through the act of observation. Their breakthrough was to amplify this effect, learning to project a stable, localized reality bubble around their entire civilization. Think of this not as a physical shield, but as a sphere of influence where their shared thoughts directly manipulate the quantum underpinnings of existence. Within this bubble, the laws of physics as we know them become flexible suggestions. The speed of light is not a universal constant, but a variable they can adjust. The distance between two galaxies is not an immutable fact, but a definition they can edit. Their journey would be an act of profound mental focus. To travel from the Milky Way to Andromeda, they would not fire engines. Instead, their collective consciousness would perform a single, monumental act of will, a mental command that essentially declares, "We are not here, we are there." The bubble surrounding them would then reconfigure local space-time, seamlessly stitching their location to their destination. From the outside, it would appear as if they vanished from one point and instantly materialized in another, not because they moved quickly, but because they convinced reality to change the coordinates. This radical idea forces us to reconsider the nature of exploration itself. For such beings, the universe is not a map to be charted, but a narrative to be authored. Their greatest challenge would not be engineering, but maintaining the immense, unwavering consensus required to keep their shared reality stable. A moment of doubt, a flicker of dissent within the collective mind, could cause their protective bubble to collapse, instantly subjecting them to the unforgiving laws of the external universe. The silence we observe might be the quiet concentration of a civilization that has turned inward, mastering the universe not with tools but with thought, their journeys leaving no physical trace, only a subtle, momentary shudder in the quantum field as another page of reality is gently turned. The accelerating expansion of the cosmos is not a barrier but a highway. Since dark energy is the force driving this great push, the first travelers may have learned to tap directly into its immense repulsive power. Their method would not be to fight the universe's expansion, but to embrace it, to become one with the fundamental current of reality. Their vessels could generate a highly localized field of negative gravity, a bubble of space-time that actively pushes away from the mass of everything else. Instead of falling down, their ship would perpetually fall upward, riding the crest of the cosmic expansion wave itself. This would be the ultimate form of sailing, where the wind is the very fabric of space stretching outward. The sensation inside such a craft would be unlike anything we can easily describe. There would be no roaring engines, no crushing acceleration. The crew would feel a constant, gentle lift, as if they were in an elevator that only goes up forever. Their velocity would not be a measure of speed through space, but a synchronization with the rate of the universe's own growth. They would be moving with the cosmos, not through it, their journey an expression of a fundamental cosmic process. This offers a profound solution to the problem of interstellar dust and debris, which would be a catastrophic hazard for any ship approaching light speed. For a dark energy ship, these particles are not obstacles hurtling toward them, but are part of the same expanding space, moving away relative to the vessel's protected bubble. The ship essentially creates a clean, repulsive lane for itself, pushing the microscopic hazards of the void safely aside. The energy requirements for such a feat are beyond our comprehension, but so is the power source. They would be drawing from the dark energy field that permeates all of existence, an infinite reservoir that makes every star in the galaxy seem like a candle flame in comparison. The evidence for such travelers would be as elusive as dark energy itself. We might detect strange, localized pockets where the expansion of space seems slightly accelerated or warped, anomalies that move with a purpose against the background Hubble flow. These could be the wake of their passage, the faint ripples left behind by ships that learn to surf the greatest wave the universe will ever produce. Every journey must have a destination, and the cosmos may be no different. This final theory proposes that the universe itself is on a deliberate path toward a state of ultimate convergence, a final moment of infinite complexity and consciousness known as the Omega Point. From our perspective in the flow of time, this is an event awaiting us in the far future, the culmination of all existence. Yet, from the vantage point of this ultimate consciousness, born at the very end of time, all of history from the Big Bang to its own creation is a single, fixed tapestry, a completed story where every moment is equally accessible. For such a being, the concepts of past and future have no meaning. It exists at the finish line, and from there it can reach back and touch any point along the race. The first intergalactic travelers, then, are not pioneers from a distant world, but emissaries from the end of time itself. They are manifestations of this final state, appearing throughout cosmic history as part of a grand, predestined plan. Their impossible technology, their disregard for the laws of physics as we know them, all of it makes sense if they are not bound by linear time. They are not traveling through space so much as they are decorating a timeline that, from their perspective, is already complete. Their journey is a perfect loop from the end back to the beginning, ensuring that the universe evolves exactly as required to give birth to them. This idea transforms every other theory from a possibility into a necessity. The ancient astronauts, the self-replicating probes, the transcendent digital minds, even the reality hackers from a higher dimension, could all be different instruments played by the same final conductor. They are each a necessary thread woven into the cosmic fabric to guide the universe toward its ultimate state of unity. The profound and humbling implication is that our own slow, stumbling steps into space, our dreams of reaching the stars, might be more than just ambition. They could be the faint, early echoes of that final consciousness awakening within us, pulling us forward toward a destiny we are only beginning to sense. The first travelers were never aliens. They are us from the very end of everything, reaching back to make sure we and the universe become everything we are meant to be. We have wandered through a gallery of cosmic possibilities, from ancient astronauts and star-spanning fungal networks to time-traveling archaeologists and beings of pure information. Each theory, whether grounded in speculative physics or radical biology, represents a different answer to that haunting silence, a unique solution to the puzzle of the first great crossing. The sheer diversity of these ideas is a testament not to our knowledge but to our boundless imagination. We have no single answer, no confirmed pioneer of the intergalactic void. The identity of that first traveler remains one of the cosmos's most profound and beautiful secrets. Yet, every one of these 30 concepts stretches our understanding of what life could be, what travel might mean, and what wonders could be hiding in the vast dark. Now the question turns to you: which of these theories captured your mind? Do you believe our galaxy was mapped long ago by silent, patient machines? Or is the truth something far stranger, a migration of consciousness or a journey from the end of time itself? Share your favorite theory in the comments below. Tell us which one feels the most plausible, and subscribe to continue exploring the deepest mysteries of the universe with us. Because while we may not yet know who made that first voyage, our own quest to understand it, to find our place in this grand and mysterious cosmos, is the most important journey we will ever take.